Did you, just like me, auto-generate subtitle captions in DaVinci Resolve Studio, and then you realize, hey, these are always off by a couple of seconds when you export them for YouTube, and then you realize, hey, I'm never going to be able to use this incredible time-saving feature again. Well, the quick solution to the problem is just to set the timeline timecode to 0, and then you export an SRT file without the formatting. But if you want to know a few more tricks about how you can really control subtitles using DaVinci Resolve, stick around for just a couple more minutes for some of the tricks that I've never shared before. So I'm in DaVinci Resolve 19, the studio version. If I play the timeline, I have like a standard interview setup.
I talked to somebody just the other day where there was a dog breeder that was actually...
I mean, the content doesn't matter, but the point is I have dialogue on a track, I've got music and all that sort of stuff going on, but the important thing to pay attention to is if you bring your playhead to the beginning, the time code for this timeline starts at 1 hour. This is not going to work if you want your SRT exported and be in sync. So how do we change this to 0 like I mentioned? Well, we need to first find the timeline in the bin up here. And if you got lots of stuff going on, it can sometimes be hard to locate it. So a quick shortcut to sort of get there is under the timeline dropdown, go down to the bottom. We have Find Current Timeline in Media Pool. Click that, and now you have this selected in the media pool, so you can change it. And in fact, a few versions ago, Blackmagic Design made it so that you can change the start time code for lots of timelines at once. And I found this really helpful when I need to make broadcast deliverables that maybe need to start at 59:53. It's a quick way to batch change all these. So to batch change all these to 0, just select them all, right click, timelines, timeline settings is not what you want. You want the starting time code right below it. So starting time code, and then just enter 0, hit return on the keyboard, and it should update all the start time code to 0. Well, what if every time I created a new timeline, I right click, say timelines, create new timeline, it didn't always start at 1 hour, so I didn't have to change this afterwards. Well, that can be fixed with a user editing preference. And so where that's controlled at, I'll hit cancel for this, is under the DaVinci Resolve menu, go to preferences, and then we have user, not system, go to user, editing, and the start timecode value for every new timecode you make, change that to 0, and then we'll hit save. And so now, anytime I come over here and either say Command N or select it that way, our new start time code will be set to 0, and you'll be done with that setup. While I'm looking at settings and stuff, another one that's good to know about is a project level setting, so that's unique to this project. And that's referring to the number of characters you use per line. So project settings down in the lower right, this little cog down here, or shortcut, be Shift-9 to get there. Go down to subtitles and transcription, and we have max characters per line. So this is basically before it creates the next caption, this is the most it's going to allow. You know what I mean? So these are defaults so that you can set this up once and then it'll be consistent. 42 is what I like for 16:9. If you're doing vertical stuff or social media, you don't have as much width, so you may go as low as 8 for something like that. But this is 16:9. We'll change this back to 42 and we'll hit save. And the way you actually work this whole tool out, it's underneath the timeline menu. Go down to create subtitles for audio. And this is how you actually would kick off the voice recognition kind of thing that makes all the titles for you. But it always pays attention to your in and out points. So if you don't have any in and out points on the timeline, what it'll do is it'll just do the whole timeline. A lot of times that's fine, but it doesn't give you a lot of control. Let me just run that so you can see how that works. I'll say create subtitles from audio. Our defaults here are 42 characters per line, single line is good. We'll hit create. And this will run as fast as your machine is capable of doing. The Apple Silicon, which is what I use, seems to run really fast. But it's not perfect. So if we take a listen and look at this here, let's see.
Squeezing and manipulation.
Well, even right here, squeezing and manipulation.
And manipulation.
She says and manipulation in one chunk of dialogue, but it got split sort of in a weird way. Well, we're going to fix this by restraining areas by an in and an out mark of what we want it to transcribe. But before we even get there, I do want to show you, I'm going to hit Option X to clear that. All this is super easy to edit. If this is your first time using subtitles, don't worry. Just click the area you want to edit, So let's say we want to get rid of this where it says blank audio. That's not really helpful for whatever reasons we might not want that there. We could click inspector and then just select the type up there. It's just like a text window and it's gone. All these down here will roll and trim and edit just like a video clip. So nothing new there. What I do want to show you that might be new to you is the idea of restraining the whole command of create subtitles from audio to an in and out point. So to do that, I will close my inspector, give me a little more room, and I'm going to delete this track that it had already created. So I'm clicking in the track header area for subtitles, and I'll say delete track. Now, the way this is going to work is rather than going here and marking I and O, which is fine, you can speed this up by using a thing that's called selection follows playhead with your auto track selectors. That's these white things, these little triangles. If I first turn on selection follows playhead, which is under the timeline menu down here to selection follows playhead, right in this area, I have this set to a keyboard shortcut of Option or Alt A. Once that's turned on, you'll see wherever the playhead crosses, it's going to select the clip. In my case right now, I want it to be selecting this A1 clip so I can get a selection of that audio clip down there. And so the way that works is all these are turned on. I need to disable pretty much everything except the stuff I want selected. So to disable the video tracks without actually going in and clicking one by one, if you hold down Shift, it'll turn all of those off. In fact, we could do the same thing with the audio one and then just turn the one we want back on with clicking it again. That's a quick way to do it. There's keyboard shortcuts for all this stuff. So now if I move my playhead around, it marks the region by not in and out points, but the orange box around it. This orange box is cool because you can use the mark clip command with that selected to mark the in and out on it. So let's say we want to mark just this clip. X marks the spot, just like our treasure maps we had when we were little kids. And so with this selected, now what you can do is go to timeline, create subtitles from audio, and have it run just on these in and out points. So if I click that there, click create again, you can hit return. It just does that specific region. It limits it. And that can be really handy for shorter timelines that you really want to control where lines are breaking. Another keyboard shortcut is really useful in this scenario in my mind, because I don't want to go up here to say timeline, create subtitles from audio every time. I want to make a keyboard shortcut. So I have mine here set to Command-Shift-T. So what that means is when I go, let's say I want to do this range here, I hit X on the keyboard, Command-Shift-T, return on the keyboard, and then we have just that section that's been, transcribed or subtitled out for us automatically. How do you change keyboard shortcuts? If you're new to that, I'm going to go really quickly through this. DaVinci Resolve, keyboard customization, and then in here, just search for something like Subtitle, whatever the thing you think you want to change is, and you'll have options over here. You hit the plus button, and then once you do that, you can sort of start typing it in. I had Command-Shift-T set, and then just make sure you're not overlapping a previous shortcut. I'm gonna hit close, just to show you how you can go through a couple more of these. X, Command-Shift-T, restrained it to that area. That one cut a little bit short. I don't know a way around that. If you do, please let me know. Other than that, I would just have to go and manually trim these out. At the end of the process, you might not want to see this subtitle track. It gets in the way, right? There's a lot going on right here. If I need to keep editing, but I want the subtitle work to still stay there, you can assign a shortcut for it to just hide and go away. I have mine set to Command-Option-S. It goes away, but you can see we still do have the subtitles available up there. Command-Option-S again turns them back on. This will be another keyboard shortcut. If I open my keyboard shortcut window and I search for, I think it's show subtitles, or let's just search for subtitle instead of that. But it's basically going to be a show there. Show subtitle tracks is the command you want to use. With show subtitle tracks, it's just going to let you be able to toggle those on and off, give you a little bit more screen space, especially going to be useful if you use a laptop. So that's really handy as well. The other thing to be aware of with these subtitle tracks, if you go to the inspector, you can create presets for a client. So let's say you go over here to your track setting, you set all your parameters like you want, which keyframing is not available on these, just so you're aware. But you can set some basic stuff like a background color. Save those as a preset, track as a preset. And let's say we want to do tempo subs 1 as a preset. It's got a custom font, background, that whole thing, but it's not animatable. So the solution there is actually, there's a great guy. His name is Orson Welles. His name is Orson Lord, and he created this product called Snap Captions. You can get it for free. Obviously, you should donate if you can. And what this tool does is it will convert these static captions that you've created automatically with the Resolve, and it'll make a animated text plus title that will work so that you can bake in your titles when you export, if it needs to go to social media especially. Another tip along that same line, if you were not to do these as text plus titles and you want these to be burned in, on the deliver page we have at the bottom, there's a subtitle settings. Just say export subtitles, burn into videos, the option you want for that. But again, of course, if you're uploading to YouTube and you don't want to burn these into the image like this, and you just want to use the player that's available, you can do that as well. And the way I go about that, of course, you can do it on export too, but you can just right click in this header area over here on the subtitle track, right click and say export subtitle. And then here's the important thing. Instead of the SRT format, go ahead and choose subtitle files without formatting, save that out, and I've already got one there. I'll say replace, and then if I go to the desktop and open this with a text tool like Text Edit on a Mac, you can see you just have text files. You could edit these here too if you had someone that didn't have Resolve, and all the timing is going to work fine because it begins at hour 0. And then one little tip that I think helps, but I'm not totally sure. If you play back,
They were training the puppies.
we have music in here. Maybe you have lots of sound effects, and if you want Resolve to just listen to the microphone, just the dialogue track alone, if you hit the solo button,
They were training the puppies to tolerate some.
so we're not listening to the whole mix. I have sometimes seen better results on getting, better transcription, better automatic subtitles made by hitting the solo buttons. Take that with a grain of salt. So again, to recap real quickly, you just turn that selection follows playhead on, X marks the spot, Command-Shift-T, whatever shortcut you use for subtitles from audio, return accepts that, and it will automatically create it, restrained to that in and out mark. Hey, welcome if you're new here. I really do appreciate you. I'm Chadwick, and I love teaching DaVinci Resolve. And because there is so much more to learn, I'll see you in the next video.